What's up, spooky friends? Welcome back to another episode of Sir Henry's Haunted Podcast. We took a week off due to Hurricane Ian and just being able to open and having to take a break ourselves. But here we are back again for episode 7. We got a cool little episode planned for you guys. For those of you who are new listeners, I am Zach. I'm your host, also the owner of Sir Henry's Haunted Trail. To my left, we have our executive producer, Calvin.
What up, what up? It's your boy.
And back for her third time, I believe it is, third episode?
Yeah, third.
We have our production manager, our scenic artist, our paint goblin, Linsey.
Hey, good to be back.
Fun stuff. Of course, we do want to shout out one of our sponsors, Back Pocket Studios. Did I say Studios?
Yeah,
Studios.
Studios. That's a new term. Back Pocket Studios here in Plant City. Thank you for them for allowing us to use their space. Of course, if you guys ever need any recording studio needs of any kind, music, podcast, audio, anything, they are your one-stop shop. Check them out. So we got a very cool, fun episode planned for you guys today. We've been getting a lot of Q&A questions submitted to
we got to talk about our returning segment.
I mean,
here.
I feel like the guests already know what's in here setup wise.
might be some
but
new
Calvin,
people.
go ahead and set it
All
up.
right, yeah.
For the
So
newbies.
for the first couple episodes, we just said too many words, too many times. So, of course, we have the returning shout-out swear jar. Also, fun facts are on there as well. So, any fun facts or shout-outs will go into the Fog Machine Fund.
Well, yes, we are looking for new fog machines, and if we buy new fog machines, then after that, I believe we're saving up for a fourth attraction.
Fourth trail, yep.
So, but I am legally required and exempt from using shout out one time, and that's if it's built into the script like it is.
So it's like a rated R movie.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, you get one.
You get one.
I get one. I get one shout out and one fun fact an episode, and that's built in. Anything else got to go in the swear jar, and we'll get to that in a second.
I'll allow it.
Yes.
We don't have the ward referee here, so it's a little
The
more
ward
lenient.
referee is missing, so yes. We'll
If you see him, just let us know he's missing.
He is
give us a call.
MIA. Last time I saw him was on a roof tarping it after the storm.
1-800-CALL Zach.
Might have blew away. I don't know. But I digress.
No reward.
So this is the one. So yeah, if you're watching this episode, we've got a couple weekends in the book. We've had our media night, which thank you to all of our media friends and family.
Good time. It was a great time.
Who came out and applied and made the cut and got to come out and experience media night. We had a great fun time that night. That was kind of that for us. That was our opening night because that was the thing we were working towards. Everything had to be done because we wanted to show off all the cool new stuff that we did for 2022 for our media people. And fortunately enough, we finished it. Have no idea how, but we did. And it was fun.
Drinks.
Yeah,
it was fun.
I don't even remember the past couple months at this point.
It's a blur.
Yeah.
It literally is a blur, but I think we'll talk about that a little later in this episode. But speaking of this episode, it's going to be a fun episode. Like I was saying, we've got a lot of you have been emailing questions to us. Calvin, you were emailing Calvin at Sir Henry's Haunted Trail. You can see the email across the screen here. So please keep sending your questions, comments, thoughts, and don't send any weird stuff because it's weird. But no, keep sending that in. Thank you for us. So we've built an episode that's going to be like a Q&A, get to know us kind of episode. It's really fun, really loose, go with the flow type of thing. But we've got some really good questions here, some really interesting stuff. We've had to think about these extensively, so we've had homework to do. How fun.
Yeah, pretty exciting.
Tickets, as are on sale now. We're getting ready to go into our third weekend at Sir Henry's Haunted Trail. Make sure you buy your tickets online in advance before coming, sirhenryshaunted.com. And don't forget, if you have more than 12 people in a group and you buy more than 12 tickets in once, it automatically takes $3 off each ticket for those of you who have been asking about group rates. So there is that. So we got the Q&A episode today. But first I want to shout out, this is my one legally exempt shout out for the episode.
Remember that.
You guys know, if you watched episode 2, we were originally Sir Henry's a home haunt, and home haunts are great. We love home haunts. They're so much fun. They're creative, and it's cool to see everybody's own creative spin on haunts. But some of our good buddies and friends also put put on a home haunt. Pemberton Haunters. They're literally they're like 8 minutes away from us. They're off of exit 14. It's
A hop,
Macintosh.
skip, and a jump.
Macintosh exit off of I-4. Pemberton Haunters, go like their Facebook page, their Instagram. They're going to be putting on their home haunt for, I believe, 8 nights. Something like that. It's from like the 14th, something like that. And I should know the dates, but it's got a lot going on. but yeah, somewhere around the 14th, and they'll be open through Halloween night. So if you guys are looking for something how to do Halloween night, they will be open too. Our good buddy Richie and his family puts that on. Richie's an awesome dude, and they do a really cool home haunt.
I'm excited to see it this year.
Yeah, we're going to go over there. We're going to go support them. So if you're looking for something, it's free, but they do accept donations. You got to support those guys. They put a lot of heart and effort into it. I know with Hurricane N, they were kind of worried about their tent and everything getting destroyed, but they made it through just like we did. Thank goodness. Huge blessing. But yeah, go give them a like and follow. Go check them out, and it's just another fun thing to do. And Richie and his crew does a great job over there. So shout out to them. So yeah.
Ooh, there's your second one.
No, it's a continuation. It's a segment. It's a segment.
That was a beginning and end cap. It was like a period. Okay.
All right.
Literary symmetry.
Thank you, Linsey. Somebody gets it. He's being a little anal about the shout outs. He's on a fog machine in every scene in the trail.
Yeah.
Listen, there's already like 6.
Yeah, I saw that first 4 in my hands and got excited.
If you guys saw, we've already bought 3 from the Instagram story. You saw Calvin in there. We forwarded that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so let's go ahead. Let's dive into it. Our first question. And I should have put the names here, but I didn't. So forgive me for that. But our first question of the episode is, what is the toughest time of year for you? Linsey, let's tee it up for you. What's the toughest time of year for you?
I don't know.
With the trail?
When did we open? The entire week before that.
Yeah, so I would say the same thing. That
and the week before you shoot everything.
Oh yeah, that's a very good point. So
because I was literally painting things that day.
So obviously the week before we open, it's what we call Hell Week or whatever fancy term you want to throw that.
Yeah, that's definitely the hardest for like build and stuff.
It's miserable. We're working like 16-hour days to complete everything because nothing can ever be done early because it's theater, arts, entertainment. Nothing ever gets done on time.
It's also the most fun.
It's the nature of the business. Yep. It is what it is.
It's mostly fun because your mental capacity is just so reduced that everything is hilarious.
Yeah. We're laughing, we're making jokes, or we're at each other's throats.
Yeah.
Calvin and I would know nothing about that.
Nope.
Nothing at all. But so that is obviously, the week before it's just mad.
But if we're talking acting wise, it would be the third weekend would be the hardest, toughest, longest acting nights.
I mean, you could say that, but you could also say that it's also the easiest because it goes by so quick because we're so busy.
That's true too. Yeah.
So to me, acting wise, because I do act, I play an important character.
He plays a lead.
Yeah.
This is a small little thing.
Yeah, you got
you could say it's the first weekend. First weekend is always the toughest acting wise for me because I'm exhausted and drained.
Tired.
And then we gotta pull our bootstraps up and give some energy.
Put a nice face on.
Exactly. But Linsey brought up a great point about our video shoots. So we do our video shoots in like mid-July, and it's kind of like a middle of the haunt build stuff for us to, hey, we have to have XYZ done by this date.
Because we need to get shots
because
for the videos.
We want to advertise through our marketing all the new stuff we have. And so that is always a very stressful time. And I always tell myself every year, like, I just got to get past this week. I just got to get past this week.
Yeah, it's also
and then Hell Week comes.
And then it's like August and September, we're working 10, 12, 13, 14-hour days. And like, it didn't get any better. So, but what about
What's
you,
a schedule?
Calvin? Yeah, right.
Yeah, for me, it was probably like it's that last like week or two right before media night. It was tough just because it's just so long and it's a lot of things to do, but hopefully, ideally, it's all a bunch of little things.
Yeah, but it's just a million of them.
The pressure is very real because, okay, we got 2 weeks to be open and then
Yeah.
people are going to see it and everything has to be perfect.
And then, like, someone comes around and it's like, you guys open in 2 weeks. Are you excited? It's like, do not mention that.
Don't talk to me, please.
Please do not remind me.
I was giving a lot of behind-the-scenes tours to several different people from like middle of August to a week before we opened, and every time I'd walk through them trails, I'm like, we still got a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
I was like cringing because it was so much work to do.
Just little stuff.
But the little stuff becomes big stuff, which turns into the final product that everybody sees.
Like a week before you open and you have to like scroll through your whole list.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. So and to be fair, shout out because whatever. Shout out to our entire team for helping us get across the finish line. You know, you guys see us on the podcast, but it's so much more than just us. You know, Jen, Clay, Sam, Chris, my boy, Austin, Maddie, Caleb, our trail ADs, our staff. Thank you, all of you guys. And I know I'm leaving out some names. Thank you guys for helping us get across the finish line to be able to open, and not just open, to have a pretty
good.
And thank you for just
dealing with us.
Yeah.
That was probably
a lot to deal with,
especially all three of us combined.
But yeah, so that's it's all tough, but it's all fun because it's worth it.
Yeah, I'm having fun. I love it. Dream job.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like you asked that 2 weeks ago, and you're like, yeah, I love my job.
Hey, if you're watching the video vlog, podcast, whatever you want to call it, and if you're listening, don't forget here, we have returning this year, Kill and Curly has partnered with us, and we have created once again Sir Henry's Twisted Apple Hard Cider. So for those of you who are over 21, it's a caramel apple flavor hard cider that you can purchase at our event while quantities last, and also at Kill and Curly. And they do have it on tap too. Cool. We love Kill and Curly. It's a great partnership we have with them, and we also have a lot of plans going forward for our other seasonal events too. But Sir Henry's Twisted Apple Hard Cider makes a return this year. You can buy that this year on our location at the event while supplies last. Wanted to mention that real quick. But yeah, okay. Continuing on this Q&A list, what is your favorite trail this season? Calvin, what about you?
I think we're all kind of partially biased to one.
Be the obvious.
Yeah. But I'm gonna throw a curveball. I like Rapture of the Deep a lot.
Yeah.
I really do. And I like the props that we've put in there and worked very hard on getting to work. So yeah, and well, I guess there's also kind of a bias there that I'm now realizing, but I like Rapture of the Deep.
I mean, technically, there's bias for everything because we've worked on all of them.
Calvin has a little fling with the
trail
manager.
Fling,
if you want to call it that. What about you, Lindsay? Favorite trail this year?
I'm biased. I'm biased to Headless.
Yeah,
these are like picking your favorite kid.
I've been working on Headless since February.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that in the fun fact of the day. But
there's your one.
No. It's a segment.
That's no.
It's the name
now
of the
this
segment.
guy, he just wants a laser swamp in every scene. That's all it is.
He just wants laser swamps everywhere.
Pawn genius.
But no, love that. I love that for you. But no, So I've had many guests already ask me, they come up to me in character and ask me, what's your favorite trail this year? And it's the first time I've ever been like, there is the obvious choice, and that is Headless, because I've always wanted to do the Headless Horseman. And it's the first time I can say, down to every aspect of that trail, that it came out exactly how I envisioned, if not better. So that's pretty freaking cool. But
I can attest to that too.
And a lot of it has to do with Lindsay here. But shout out. Damn it.
Oh, come on. I didn't even catch that one either.
But no, so that is, it's literally like you're walking through a movie, but that's cool. But each one has its own thing. Final Cut is very themed and very scary, and very dark and twisted, which is what I wanted, so that's cool.
Yeah.
But then Rapture of the Deep has those animatronic pieces that just will bring a smile to your
They're
face,
so
or your
cool.
jaw will hit the ground. And I don't want to give too much away for those of you who haven't been to or the event yet or coming to see it, but when you get to that second half of that trail, you're going to see some stuff you've never seen at Sir Henry's, let alone anywhere at any other haunt, because it's all custom.
Yep.
Totally custom, and a lot of it's thanks to Linsey and all the rest of our team for helping hook that up too. So thank you guys for that. But yeah, so gun to my head, I can't say it.
I knew you would. It's like picking a child, though. It's hard. So it's like you can pick one, but it's like, but the other two are very close seconds. But you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's close because each one has. I like it for different reasons.
Exactly. Me too. Yes. Like you said, like the darkness and the how scary Final Cut is amazing, and just the drama.
I'm a huge film buff too. So
Yeah.
that's cool.
Trail 2 came out a lot better than I honestly expected it to.
Yeah, same.
It's the sleeper.
Yeah, it is a
We
sleeper.
said it was going to be the sleeper.
Yeah.
It is the sleeper, and I think it has to do with the fact that we completely, and thanks to like Jen for like doing this and like spray painting every single prop that's in there.
Yep.
And
Jen and
Chris, just like
they put their heart into
Yeah.
that film.
Yeah,
to
and
make sure it was.
there's just some cool scenes in there.
There
Yeah.
are.
Some really cool stuff.
I mean, I think I've talked about this. It's not like a giveaway or anything, but when you walk through the buoy screen that's split down the middle, that's
so cool.
It's money, dude.
And the whole trail is in black and white, so there's a lot of work.
And that unique aspect too
Yeah.
has never been. I've
it's
never
down to the
almost-
costumes
it's
and
almost so normal that it is scary in its own right.
Yeah,
exactly.
it's very real.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So that's really cool. So cool deal. What is your favorite scare or prop on each trail,
Who's going first?
Calvin?
I'll separate them. So prop.
Yeah, we'll go trail by trail.
What can I say? A prop?
You can be general about it because I don't want to give us spoilers.
Okay,
but
so-
for those who've come, we'll know what you're talking about.
Right at the end of Rapture of the Deep, there's something that comes at you in the chum room. That
from the top.
from the top rope. And I just love that thing. Linsey killed it with the sculpt and everything like that, and then just the mechanism, and it just feels real because you're supposed to be underwater.
Yes.
And so it coming from the top is just great.
And that light is just like
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
before you get there.
Yeah.
It's all just a perfect
We
amalgamation.
have an H2O light in there which simulates water and the underwater under the sea.
Under the sea.
Like they have a lot of, like the fire and ice lights, but this one is just like crystal clear.
Yeah.
We splurged for this one.
Yeah.
Literally.
And then
Well, it's like the scene.
Yeah, no, it is.
and then we have almost literally the exact opposite. Somebody in Trail 1 comes at you from below in the village that I really like.
Oh,
Yeah.
Which is brand new for us.
Brand new, yeah,
Yeah.
never before seen out
We
here.
put in specific infrastructure just for this scare.
Yeah.
But that's really good. There's some things we have to tweak about it to get it perfect, but I think
It's still every
it's-
time.
Yeah,
as
it's great.
Trail 2.
Oh, and in Trail 2 too. I like Chris. Just Chris rolling around as the director with his little clacker
and his little camera.
Yeah, he's killing it, and he's everywhere all the time and nowhere at once.
Right.
And it's just great.
Linsey, what say you?
As far as Trail 1, I really like the one at the end that you just so happen to acquire
yeah.
by sheer happenstance. That
Yeah.
was like an hour away.
Yeah. No, for like 20 minutes.
Yeah. Like it was sheer like cosmic energy that brought this
Yes.
to the
Yes.
trail. Like happenstance.
Destiny.
Trail 2, really love what's in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
forgot about
Yeah.
that. That's
Yeah, really love the kitchen. And Trail 3, bias again, like what's in the chum room.
yeah,
Yeah.
I spent a lot on that.
Yeah.
yeah. That is
Trail 3 is easily for me the chum room, the sea creature in there, because I find myself just going back there and I want to watch guest reactions.
Well,
It's-
Zach asked for it specifically, and I was like, I gotta go big with
yeah,
this.
we do.
And the initial idea was to have it a little more active.
More typical. What you see, just kind of for a scare,
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, yeah, you initially asked that,
Yeah.
and I was like, what if we have it drop? And But when I went so big with it, I wanted it to have, you know, like certain movements. But if that were to happen, it might potentially put a guest at risk.
Yeah.
Because it's a little pointy.
Yeah,
They would literally be eaten.
Yeah, you would literally be eaten.
And it's just so nice to look at.
Yeah.
Especially like when it first activates.
Yeah.
It just
So
standing
for
there
me,
looking at it, it's just,
Trail 3 for sure is that Chunroom, the creature that is in there, because it's very. I love dinosaurs. I love Jurassic Park, my favorite movie of all time. But it's very theatrical dinosaur-like animatronic.
Like, yeah.
when it comes out. You got to see it. If you haven't come,
It's an
please come
experience.
see that just for this one thing. Trail 2. My favorite scare in this whole trail is definitely right after the bedroom, where you go.
Oh, yeah.
Where you go
Yeah.
into a closet.
Yeah.
And for those of you who've been, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, well, this closet is gonna mess you up.
it's
People had a
gnarly.
lot to say about it.
They did. If you haven't seen some of the YouTube videos, make sure you watch those because they kind of go into some of that, which is really fun.
I was like excited for that when it was built. I was like, man, this is gonna tear people up. And then seeing it in full like lights with the actor in there who is killing it in there.
Yes.
It's gnarly.
So that's for me, Trail 2. And then Trail 1, Linsey talked about the finale, that the big thing you'll see in there. So that's really cool. But there's so many things in Trail 1.
Can Pam be a prop?
I mean, I don't even. count.
yeah.
That's a whole thing in itself.
Yeah,
we have our live horse and Pam, who run. This is a cool story. Real sidetrack, real quick. Pam runs a rescue, and George, the horse you see out there, is a rescued horse. George was found in a pasture, tied up to a post, skin and bones, and Pam brought George into the rescue and nursed him back to health. George is like 12, 13 years old now, and George is the feature horse
And
playing
now
the
he's
Headless
a
Horseman.
Badass headless horse.
Yeah.
Yeah, and George's got some attitude, which also plays
Yes.
into it. He's a very proud horse.
He's stomping around everywhere. It's great.
So that's a shout out to Pam and my little rescue and pony parties. If you guys ever want a pony party or just you're looking for a rescue horse, Pam is your contact there, and I'll put her information on the screen too. But I would honestly say I was going to throw a curveball. The church.
I was
yeah,
thinking
yeah,
that too.
That is my favorite scene in Trail 1 because there's a lot to choose from in Trail 1, but I think I got to go there.
Are you talking? So as a whole scene, I can agree with you.
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
by far.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
We got some cool stuff. There's so much stuff though.
Well, it's the front of the church, and then
Oh
the
yeah, we
old
gotta
prop
talk
that I
about
made
that.
last year.
Gotta talk about the front of the church, stonework. Yeah, we get it.
Stonework. We got our masonry
it's the
over
middle
here,
of July, and I'm throwing concrete on a wall.
yeah,
which I've also got. Hey, so when's the last time you did this, or when's the first time? Oh, this is the first time I'm doing it.
Oh yeah.
and it worked
talented,
out.
Lindsay.
Looks great.
Pretty talented. Cool deal. Okay, so how do you come up with the themes and stories each year? I've kind of touched on this in some of the episodes.
You have, yeah.
It's the one thing I require total control over is my themes and stories, because that's just how I do things. But no, I do.
Not to say you don't bounce. Ideas.
No. I do take all kinds of input. I look for inspiration anywhere, literally quite anywhere. And I always ask people in our team for ideas. But a lot of the cases, I already have these ideas in place a year plus in advance, such as the Headless Horseman, and Rapture the Deep, as I talked about on previous episodes. But yeah, it's I don't know. These ideas just come to me, and it's the only only way I can explain it. But it is kind of like sometimes a team effort thing where, speaking of the Candy Tree Trail, Calvin came to me that year with kind of an original idea. Well, it wasn't original. It was a folklore tale. And we wanted to do something with that, Hearn the Hunter. But we kind of modified that. Sherry, who's one of our lead actresses in the common area, did a great job of tweaking that story, making it our own with what we want to do with those elements. And we created the Candy Tree, which has been one of my favorite stories of all time. But it's very much a team effort. Even once I have the original ideas, the team comes in place and it's like, hey, we can do this, and this.
And perfect it.
And put in a bunch of different elements. the hardest thing we came up with this year, and it was really just me going back and forth, not knowing what
Trail 2.
to do, was Trail 2, the movie theme.
And I think
Final
it's
Cut.
perfect.
And I think we nailed it.
Nail on the head.
Well, nailed it. And I wanted to make sure that trail was great this year. I wanted to make sure it was great.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting little question. What's been your favorite set piece to build? What has been the most challenging? Linsey will start with
Yeah.
you.
Since I do most of the set builds.
Yes.
Well, my favorite set piece to build is also the most challenging set piece to build, and it is the village when you come through the woods and you just see
You're
all
in
of
the
it
town
all
square.
at once
Yeah.
in the town square. Yeah. Because I was doing that in June and July, and it was absolutely brutal.
Not a single tree in sight.
Not a single
It's
tree
the
in
hottest
sight.
part of the trail.
Yeah.
Absolutely hottest part of the trail. Like Trail 2, you have some tree cover.
Yeah.
You have tree cover.
Trail 2 is the coolest.
Yeah.
by
By
far. On
yeah.
the property.
Especially like the cave that I did before then.
Oh,
like
yeah.
it's all foam, so it's like basically insulated.
Yeah.
It's
But-
nice over there.
Trail 1, that's like area of land, I don't know what it is. It's so
It's a desert.
incredibly
It'll
hot.
beat anyone down.
And it was just
it was
rough.
It was rough. That was actually, if you guys have watched episode 1, our very first episode, we talk about Trail 1 Headless and our creation of that. And to Josh's credit, I built most of it, all of it, whatever, from April to May. But for me, because Linsey designed all of this trail, like she gave me the blueprints, like here's what we're doing. I'm like, okay, cool, this is freaking sick. And so I threw it all up or whatever. But it was really fun, easy build for me somehow. I'm not sure why or how, but it was
The
fun.
step-by-step IKEA.
Yeah,
Yeah, and for
literally.
real though, it was the IKEA instructions.
That's exactly why.
Yes, because normally I'm just going off my little doodle sketches on graph paper. I'm like, okay, but I had 3D models, so I was spoiled. Thank you, Linsey.
Yeah.
So that was fun, but most challenging. Honestly, if
The lighthouse.
in recent memory, the lighthouse was challenging. I had to bring Josh. You know Josh, if you watched any episodes, a consultant in. I was like, Josh, you got to help me build this lighthouse. And so he came and saved the day with the help of Richie too. I mentioned earlier in this episode. Most recently the lighthouse, but another big challenge over the past 9 seasons for me was definitely building the train in year 3.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because that was the first time, okay, we're going to have to bend Luan and do all this stuff and have all these elements.
Making stuff around.
Yeah, so that was challenging. Anytime we do round circular stuff.
Just do it in foam.
Yeah, well, there you go.
What about you, Calvin? Any challenging set pieces you've had to work on, or has it been fun?
So Zach has mentioned in the past that he hates roofs and steps. I hate mannequins.
Oh, yeah.
I cannot stand dressing and placing mannequins. They're just so annoying. But because I don't do a lot of building, I do mostly like set
Lighting, electrical,
setting
piecing.
stuff. And man, I just hate mannequins. They make me so mad for no reason because they never do anything that you want. You'll start moving them, and there goes the arms, and then you got to take the jacket off.
It's almost like a dead body you're trying
Yeah,
to
it's
make.
crazy.
Yeah.
Weird.
No, I mean the dead body's better because at least the arms don't fall off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, they
that is
could
true.
depending
They
how
could,
long it's
yeah,
been
yeah,
dead. But when we were trying to put the peak on the courthouse, that
Oh yeah, I might have had a meltdown.
Yeah, that
day.
one.
And,
Oh, my
and so
God.
yeah, so
I
the-
ended up putting the peak on the
The
courthouse.
peak on the courthouse
how
is
you did
only
it.
on there because of Linsey, because I was like, oh, screw it. I'm
Yeah.
just putting the little 10 part up.
We're done.
I'm like, Linsey, this is it. She's like, okay, but that's not right. I'm going to do it.
like
I don't even know how you did it.
I don't know. I showed up the next
danger
day. It was done.
IKEA. So Zach had built it and it was on the ground. I'm like, I'm just gonna disassemble the entire thing and walk it up piece by piece and just put it together.
Yeah,
And
that works.
It worked, and it looks nice now.
It looks
Thank you.
great.
It looks a
actually,
little
yeah.
more grand.
It does. That was the only way to go.
Go big or go home.
Thank goodness for Linsey being able to get a courthouse. Linsey also helped me manhandle the steeple. On
Oh
the
my God.
church, which steeples on churches for me always are a pain in the butt. I about killed myself on the first one in 2017, and I probably would have killed myself this time had it not been for Linsey.
He's like, I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it. I'm like, yeah, I'll help
like,
a little bit.
It's like, all right, I did this before. I'm not going to build a back on it. I'm going to put handles on it. Yeah, it still didn't work.
Yeah, this when Zach gets
getting it
upset
up
with
and
a
over.
build, he gets he gets dangerous. He's gonna hurt himself. He starts throwing things.
It's
stuff.
So-
that's-
so
part
this
of the
time-
creative process.
Unlike the lighthouse, we had an actual rope.
yeah,
Yeah, it was a legit rope, not an extension cord.
yeah. He just picks up stuff that's way too heavy to pick up by his.
But yeah, no. So that's there's always something challenging, fun going on out there.
I hate
for sure.
mannequins. Period.
If you do have mannequins that you're looking to get rid of, please send us an email.
Oh, yeah,
at gmail.com. We are always looking for more mannequins.
I'll take your mannequin, but I won't like it.
You won't like it. Cool. What's something you wish you could have a do-over at, or something you wish you'd done maybe a little differently or better since your time here? I'll start. I'll give you guys a minute to think about this. I'm not going to go into like early years, like before year 4, because that's a learning experience for me. And I feel like everybody, I don't know. I just feel like doesn't count. But speaking from like year 4 on, if I could have a do-over of what I want to do again, a couple things come to mind. Maybe Blood Masquerade, the whole vampire thing. I don't know. I would like to see a different approach to that. And not to give anything away, not that anything is to be given away, but, when we did Curse of Hollow Oak with the witch and Beatrice, I was happy with it, but at the same time, I'd appreciate a second chance at that.
Yeah.
And there's also not stuff like that I hated, but also stuff that like, okay, that was cool. Let me see what I can do now. Was like
A couple years later, with
our
more
experience
skill
and talent and the team around us. The carving comes to mind for me too.
Yeah,
But yeah, Calvin, what do you get?
I was probably going to say the carving too, especially because throughout the trail we had you don't know this. We had pumpkin statues that kind of grew in size all the way up to a 13, 14 footer.
Well, that was the next to final one.
Yeah.
And it was a 14-foot pumpkin creature, which
Yeah.
was pretty cool. I forget about that.
Yeah, for what it was cool, but I wish we could do that again.
And then the
are those
final-
the ones in the back.
Yeah.
Sort of, yeah.
Okay.
And then the final one was you go through a pumpkin,
Yeah.
a jack-o'-lantern.
Oh,
head.
and
That
I
was
remember
like 10 foot tall.
Yeah. So I think we could
Pictures
go
on
back.
screen.
We could go back and do that bigger and better, especially now with Linsey and her
Yeah.
skills at making big things.
I don't like doing it, but I'll do it.
Yeah.
She's gonna be miserable, but she's gonna do it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do it anyway.
But and plus I have a connection to the carving, and I think now with the guy,
You know that guy.
Yeah, that's
You know
my
that guy.
I'm on
we're,
screen.
we're roommates.
Cool.
But yeah, so I think we could do that way better,
Yeah.
way bigger.
Yeah. Lindsay, I know you're fairly new to the Sir Henry's team. Been here 2 years, but you got anything?
It's less of things that I would want to do over and more of things like I just didn't have enough time to finish the way that I wanted. Like adding barnacles and scenes in Trail 3.
Yeah, that's
and just like all of these little things that would just make it a
Relatable.
little more grandiose,
Yep.
but
a little more dynamic.
Time is a thing.
By the
Yeah.
same time, when you got 80% of our guests coming through with their eyes closed,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
it's all right.
Yeah.
It's all right. They don't know what we didn't
It's for
get to.
us. This is us.
Yeah. Cool. Y'all know how I got started at Sir Henry's, but it might be interesting to hear from Calvin and Lindsay how they got started at Sir Henry's. So, Calvin, how did you get started at Sir Henry's on the Trail?
So it all starts in
17.
2017.
16.
Yeah,
17. 17.
I came out as a guest.
You 16, you came out as a guest.
And I was like, this place is pretty legit. And then
Ain't a lot for
when
2016.
when my mom got an ad on Facebook that you guys needed volunteers, she took me out and I volunteered and probably had a crappy audition or whatever. But you guys were communicating via email, and then my phone broke. And being the dim-witted young person that I was,
15.
I didn't think that I could just look at my email on a computer. So I was like, man,
Kids.
I don't know when to come out, so I'm not going to come out. But I went out as a guest and ran into you.
As Sir Henry called you out, like,
Yeah.
bro, where you been?
You should be out here with us, is exactly what you said.
Yeah.
And I was like, where and when? And I was there the next night
Yeah.
acting. And I was,
You were filming somebody with a scene with a chainsaw.
well, no, not my first night. My first night, I was the monster in
The
Resurrection.
Frankenstein Resurrection monster.
And then I think it was next week, and then I was filming in the chainsaw spot.
Yeah, that's right. And because that was the time, that was like the last year I kind of like stayed half of my time inside a trail or maze or whatever you want to call it, and acted in there with the kids. But I had a spot that was near where Calvin was, and so I got to watch him. And I told my wife that weekend night, whatever, I'm like, this kid's got some natural ability. I hope he stays around because I kind of like him.
Well, so if like throwing it way back, I grew up around haunted houses as a child, like 2, 3, 4 years old. My parents did like home haunt stuff.
Yeah.
So I was, I guess, born into it, and then I was just having fun. That's all I was doing.
But to be fair, you do have a natural ability for scare acting and the whole vibe that goes with it.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Some
Haunt
people,
genius.
Haunt genius, exactly.
some people have to be trained and taught, and they can learn. But you do have a natural ability. And
I appreciate that. Yeah,
can
I had to have been some sort of good because I was a
you're
lead
still
character next
here.
year. Yeah.
Well, that's really cool. And for me, Calvin was out there in 2017, and then 2018, 2019. 2018 was the carving.
Yep.
So we threw him into a silicone mask, which is the first silicone mask I ever bought. And like me and Josh were like, "Who do you think could wear this?" I'm like, "Calvin." And so we threw him in there. I'm like, "Okay, let's try this out." And so there we are.
Yeah. So the first time wearing a silicone mask, and it was like August or
Yeah.
whatever, we were taking pictures. I'm like, this is miserable because that mask is so heavy.
Yeah.
It is one of the heaviest silicone
Yeah.
masks I ever
Yeah,
felt.
but imagine if that was latex.
Yeah, it would be.
That'd be
hate
so much
latex
worse.
Yeah, and the other thing I'll say about that too for our listeners is like Cal was a young kid, and like I started the haunt. Me and my dad started this. I was 22 when we first opened. So age has always been one of those factors for me, where it's not a factor of how old you are, but what is your maturity, your level of ability, and what kind of respect can you garner with who you are. And that's one of the reasons Calvin has at such a young age risen to being one of our show managers. So that's I don't age is not one of those factors for me. Like, we can't have you in a management position unless you're 35.
Yeah.
It's
Like the
it's all about
president.
ability, because I don't care about age, because and a lot of people look down on me, maybe, perhaps, I know this, for being younger and having a thriving, successful haunt.
Yeah.
It's one of those things, but, I'm blessed to have the success I had, thanks to all of our fans, and also to have a great team around me. So,
Yeah, but I started literally when I was 15 years old, and it's been here ever since.
now look at you.
Yeah.
Lindsay, how'd you get started?
I got started because I saw an ad on Facebook. Oh, it wasn't even a job ad. It was for their Valentine's Day event in 2021. I want to say last year. That was last year.
Yes,
Okay.
2021.
Time's an illusion.
Yeah, right. Construct.
And I was like, oh man, that's kind of cool. And I had worked in haunted industries before, and I was like, I haven't done this in a while. I kind of want to, do something, maybe part time. And shot a message to Zach, and he's like, oh, you come out. And
Yeah.
History.
If you anybody who messages me, emails me, wanting opportunities, I respond to all those. I look at them all, and I will invite you out, and we will evaluate your skills and talents. But Lindsay came out. I was like, okay, cool.
he's like, here's my portfolio.
Which no shade on you, but like portfolios mean nothing to me. Personally, it's like, okay, but what can you do here and now?
Yeah.
And so I threw Lindsay into the fire pit of
Like,
hey,
actual.
I want to have this whole cave scene carved out of styrofoam and hard coated. I want this to look professional. Let me
And-
see what you got.
I don't even think I told you that I did foam carving at that point.
No.
And you're like, hey, can you do this? And I was like, maybe.
Yeah, and so she did. She
Potentially.
knocked it out of the park, and here she is designing whole trails down. So yeah, and that's the thing too. Like I'm regardless of your time or experience at the event, I'm going to put the best people in the best possible positions to succeed at the event. So that's really cool. Yeah. So jumping ahead, some other questions as we move along, as we continue to get down to the end of the episode. What expansion plans do you guys have? That's an interesting question, and a lot of it, I'm pretty much the only person who can answer this because it's my brainchild. But no, Calvin and I have talked about some things, year-round things. I don't want to give too much away, but we are definitely looking to expand the brand of Sir Henry and the brand of entertainment that we bring into some year-round settings.
Brick and mortar stuff.
Yes, year-round settings. That will hopefully come to fruition in the next year or two, but we are pushing that envelope, as well as a whole bunch of other things. You guys know we started the podcast, and we're going to only keep growing the brand and the attributes of it and keeping the community involved in many different multimedia ways. As well as for the haunt too. I know it's always a thing of, when are you guys going to add a fourth attraction? I can't say when or where, but I will say next year is year 10 and season 10, and we got to have some showstopper stuff for that, don't we?
Absolutely.
Because we can't just take the year off and be relaxed. We got to kill ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. Again,
let's be real.
3 years in a row.
Zach's already sending me pictures. He's like, "What if we did something like this?" And I'm like, "Okay."
Literally, no joke. I'm sending Linsey pictures. Like, hey. Oh, we have a thing for torturing ourselves. It's okay.
We literally never stop.
Just masochists.
But another question. This is an interesting question. Chris R sent this in. Will the Haunted Christmas Trail be returning this year? No official announcements have been made, but last year, you guys know, we did the first ever Sir Henry's Haunted Christmas, I believe we called it. Sir Henry's Haunted Christmas? Yes.
Yeah. Spooky.
No, Sir Henry's Haunted Christmas.
No,
Yeah,
no,
I mean, the
spooky
backstage
Christmas.
term was spooky Christmas,
Spooky
but
Christmas.
Spooky Christmas.
And so I cannot confirm or deny that this is returning. However, I would say you guys have an excellent chance of seeing a spooky Christmas again, because we had too much fun doing that. But we'll talk about that more probably later.
and Zach asked for an army of 2 of the things that I made last year, so
I do want to see an army of certain things. I'll let you figure out what that is. So I would anticipate a Christmas return, Sir Henry. Because who didn't love the holly jolly on his little top hat during Christmas, as well as the red bow tie and vest? Classic. Here's another question, and I think we'll talk about this more in the next episode. But have you seen the new Hocus Pocus movie? For those of you out there listening and watching, I'm a big Hocus Pocus fan. Have you guys seen the new Hocus Pocus?
I have not.
To be fair,
I've been busy at the trail.
yeah, we all haven't had lives the past 2 months.
Yeah.
But Calvin, being Gen Z or whatever he is not a Hocus Pocus fan, so the movie's not for him.
Yeah.
But it is near and dear to my heart. I did have a chance to watch the new one about a week or so ago. And this is where my elitist film snob stuff comes out.
I'm so excited. The floor is yours.
They didn't need to make this movie. They did not need to make this movie. If they wanted to make a movie for the OG fans of Hocus Pocus, they should have stuck with the elements of that movie that made it successful, the edginess. If they wanted to make a movie for the new generation, they probably should just have started from scratch, because I feel like a lot of movies nowadays just play on these like old things. Like you see Disney with the live action remakes. It's garbage. It's garbage because come up with some original ideas, people. The main problem I have with the new Hocus Pocus movie is that it muddles the lines, and a lot of movies do this nowadays, between protagonist and antagonist. To tell a good story, you have to have a protagonist and antagonist. Good versus evil, essentially. And a lot of these new movies don't do that. This movie did not do that. Shame on you. I feel like a fan such as myself could do a better job of writing this script. If you like this movie, good for you. But film speaking, it was a crappy movie. And that is saying the least I can say on this podcast. But
Sir Henry being edgy over here.
Yeah.
I have very strong feelings. This is a very mild, watered down version.
Yeah, Zach is very, very passionate about film.
But we'll talk about that soon. But yeah, so it's a fun watch. Whatever. Whatever.
Could I watch it without seeing the first one? Oh yeah,
You would not appreciate it
fact.
as much if you don't watch it the first one because they do so many nods to the first one, which I feel that's cool, but it's also like you're leaning on a crutch that is poor screen.
I thought even before it came out that they were going to play on nostalgia too much.
Yeah, and you saw that with certain other franchises, Star Wars, which also suck. But I digress. Are we going to see any other seasonal events? A lot of you guys ask this question often. I've heard stuff like Haunted Easter, Haunted 4th of July, all that stuff. I do have a couple in my back pocket that I want to do.
Flag Day.
But yes, but the problem becomes bandwidth. We do our October event, which is our big event. We do Haunted Spooky Christmas, and then we do our Valentine's Day. Well, we have to have time in between those to create all new content, all new stuff for our next season.
Yeah, we have to have time to
and-
build and improve.
And you're forgetting
Suffer.
the 2 weeks that were just basically comatose after Valentine's
Yes.
Day. because
Yeah.
It's just like
So-
a marathon.
So, and then, we have trade shows in between there. So it's a lot. So there's only a finite amount of stuff we can do. We love to do more, but I can promise you that over the course of the next few years, we will add other seasonal events, but some others might rotate, if that makes sense,
Yeah.
So, but yes, we do have more plans. Last question as we wrap this episode up, and we'll go around the table with this one. If you could turn any trail into a movie, feature-length movie, what would it be? I have my answer teed up, ready to go. Do you guys want a minute?
I know what you're gonna say,
I know you know what I'm going to say.
but I'll let you. I'll let you go. Go ahead.
Okay. For me, would be the Candy Tree. Love this story. I think that would be a really cool thing. Maybe it's already in the works. I don't know. But for sure, it would be the Candy Tree for me.
Do you have an answer?
Well, I mean, I love Trail 3 this year, Rapture of the Deep.
Yeah.
Because I'm a bit biased to my little baby.
That would be,
Little baby, huh?
My little baby, yeah.
yeah. It's like a 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea type of deal.
I'm
Well,
gonna,
I love creature features.
Well, that's your creature feature right there.
I'm gonna cheat this question a little bit and just say
He's going to say Pyram.
no. I was gonna say everything in general, just the story of Sir Henry, the story
That's
of the
a
first
cop-out.
story of the first book. It is a cop out because I can pick one.
the first book,
Yeah,
is
like-
like the novel,
Yeah.
that Amanda and Brad wrote.
Yeah, just going through
Shout
that
out.
and talking about the origin of Sir Henry and the origin of Pyram and all these characters, I think is a cool maybe a little
Well, that couldn't be a movie.
That's like a
mini-series.
TV series.
Yeah, a little
Yeah.
mini series. thing.
HBO, contact us, reach out. We've got $1 million ideas.
Yeah,
waiting.
anybody?
It's like Black Mirror.
Yeah, exactly.
So that is an interesting question. Our fun fact of the day, we've alluded, and that was the legal time I'm allowed to say this. We've alluded to this the entire episode, but a lot of people, I know you get asked like, hey, when you start setting up for the hunt, like, is it August? September? Nah, man.
Nah.
August, September, we losing our minds
Yeah.
because we're not done. We start building.
You're lucky you're even
example.
seeing me in August or September.
Yeah, Linsey started designing Trail One Headless in February. I think.
I mean,
right
I was getting reference pictures
Yeah,
together
before in
during
January.
Spooky Christmas.
Yeah, December. So literally a year-round preparation plan for this. We started building in March, end of March, and we did not finish until the day before we opened for media night.
Yeah, I believe it was March 14th. The
Yeah.
trail was tore down.
Yes.
Hey, happy birthday, Dad.
So that's my brother's birthday too.
No way.
Yeah. So it's a year-round thing, you guys. We don't just do September and October or whatever, or like even June and July. We're gonna start building a trail. No,
Yeah, it's not a month-long thing.
it's definitely not a month-long project. The quality that we produce cannot be produced in a month, even if you had 100 people doing it. It takes a full 7, 8, 9 months to create the stuff, the
Then,
sets you see.
over the course of the entire time, you get new ideas.
Yeah,
yeah.
and
figure
it's
out new ways of doing
Like, and that's in the last little bit here. Even with all the renovations, all the new sets and stuff we did on Trail One this year, don't think that it's okay. Well, that's going to be the same for 5 years.
no, that is
No, no, no,
its
no.
final.
No,
form.
no,
I,
no.
I already know the big thing I want to do for next year, and it's going to be cool.
The whole time we were
Is this
building.
the thing that I pitched?
I don't think I've told you about this yet.
Oh.
We'll talk.
Yeah, we'll
Okay.
talk.
But
Secrets.
every
Well, I'm
time I
still
walk
looking
through,
forward to the thing that I pitched.
You'll have to refresh my memory.
but every time I walk
Bit
through,
wobbly.
bit wobbly.
Yeah.
Anyways, every time I walk through, it's like more ideas. Like, oh, we could do this and this. And
There's
this. And
we
it's like,
the trail one was designed, thanks to Linsey, with the opportunity to add so much onto it too.
it's like a Lego set.
It really
Yeah.
is. It really is.
Just add whatever you want to it.
But I mean, we had one Meteor fan comment like, "Please don't ever let Headless go. That needs to be the trail every year." I'm like, I can kind of see that, but obviously we got fresh. But I'm like, I wouldn't hate that either.
No, for sure.
But maybe after 2 years it get old. But yeah. So that's I think
Next
that's all
thing
we
you
got.
know, the trail one's going to be like 20 minutes long. It's just going to keep building out.
That's fine with me.
That's how it kind of used to be.
It used to be very long.
Very long. You need a freaking school bus to take you through that thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so thank you guys for sending all these questions and answers. I hope you guys got some cool insight to more of the behind the scenes of Sir Henry's. Keep sending those in. You can send them to Calvin at sirhenryshaunted.com.
Yeah, Calvin at Sir Henry's.
Kevin Kool-Aid.
Like Hobbs.
At
Like-
Sir Henry's
like the
Haunted-
underwear.
Kool-Aid, sirhenryshaunted.com. But yeah, so keep sending us in. Maybe in a couple more, several episodes, we'll do another Q&A if we get some cool new questions in. But thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget, you can always watch us on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. You can always listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Music, whatever it is, all those major channels. So until next time, we'll catch you later. See ya.
Sayonara.
Bye.